Go ahead.
Alright, hi, my name is Mariah.
I'm Emily Miyake.
I'm Emily Schrader.
I'm Josh Robinson.
And I'm Josh Toad.
And we represent Cordanizer. So to start out, we're going to start off with a little demonstration to kind of explain our problem a little bit better. So can we have 2 volunteers from the investors? Alright, 1, 2. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you a tangle of cords and see how many you guys can untangle in 30 seconds.
Alright, is this a contest?
Yes. Alright, ready, set, go.
Ready?
Yeah, just get started.
Oh.
And 1!
Charles is an engineer. He's already done.
Oh my god. He's ripping it.
Done.
Oh, got it! I got 2. Alright. Oh wait, are yours untangled?
Got them apart, are they entangled?
They are.
Wow.
Alright,
I'm doing Carl's methodology. Alright, I only got 2. 3.
You still have some time. Still have 5
Oh, I'm
seconds.
serious. We're still supposed to keep going.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I think we get the point.
Alright, he wins. Alright.
This-
So basically just
Sunglasses. Oh yeah, thank you.
alright.
Do
I need to click it so it goes forward. There, alright. So that's just like the problem we're trying to solve. So cords get really tangled, especially earbuds and phone chargers are especially hard to just get untangled because the earbuds just get all like, I don't even know, like you put them in your pocket and the next minute they're like tangled even though you left them there untangled. And so these are the exact problems we're trying to solve because we know that it can be a huge inconvenience, especially for business people. So our product is called the Cordanizer, and it is basically a set of stackable discs that you can put your own cords into. And how it works is you take the top off of one of them, you have to wind the mechanism in the middle, you place your cord inside, and then what you do is you put the top back on and it will retract for as long as you want it to retract until you want to switch out the cord or you need a different cord. You can just take the cord out, rewind the disc, and then put the new cord in. And this is especially helpful because they also stack on top of each other, which allows them to all stay in one place. And so this is especially helpful for business travelers and business people in general because they always have those bags of cords at the bottom of their bags that are just a tangled mess, and it's very inconvenient to try to fix that. So Josh Toth is going to explain a little bit about the prototype.
The prototype we have, we talked to a freelancer we hired on Upwork.com. It took him about 3 weeks once we gave him designs. He professionally made a CAD design that we have and 3D printed it, and we have a functioning prototype of this Cordanizer. There are no direct competitors on the market with the snap together feature like we have, but there are some that are very similar that allow a customer to place any cord they like inside for it to become a retractable cord like the hub, or just organizing it like recoil. There are also some more indirect competitors on the market that serve the same function of organizing cords, but are limited in their use because they're either not retractable, like BagSmart and the Cable Turtle, or are just very generic, like the generic micro USB retractable cord. The customer segment we've narrowed down to is business people, men and women who travel for their work and therefore can benefit from the time and effort saved when using tech accessories. They also have a significant income and would be willing to pay a higher price if we need them to for our product. We've narrowed this down through email blasts we've sent out, online surveys, through our website and email blasts, and face-to-face interviews that we've done to gather information and hand out business cards.
So our total addressable market is $700 million, and that represents the total number of business people in the U.S., and that's assuming they all buy one Cordanizer. Our serviceable addressable market focuses on all the business travelers in just Illinois, and that's assuming they all buy one Cordanizer. And our market share is focusing on just Cook County, and that's $50,000. So our first year revenue is projected to be about $50,000, and we got that number through accounting for how many pre-orders we have, and then accounting for our marketing in year 1. And our year 5 projected revenue is about $680,000. And there's such a huge jump there because we expect to get into stores and in-flight magazines by year 2 or 3. And that may be a long and difficult process, but we're planning to get some sales first by talking and pitching with business executives And the more sales that we can get, the more likely it will be to get into those stores and magazines. So our cost of goods sold, so our production cost is $205 and our labor cost is 50 cents. And we got that by talking to Bob Giacolo from Lewis and Clark. And then our unit price is $18, so that comes out to a gross profit of $15.50 or 86%. So we're asking for $22,500 based on a post-money valuation of $102,000, and that's in return for 21% ownership of the company. And that the money splits into $12,000 for materials, equipment, and property, $3,000 for marketing, about $2,500 for legal, and then a liquidity cushion of $5,000. And the liquidity cushion is so high because with products, it's very based on trends. So something that could be popular like last month could be not very popular this month. And our exit strategy is to sell to Belkin in year 5.
Okay, so last time we talked to you guys, we talked about going to O'Hare Airport to test how many people we think would be in use of our product. So although we did not end up going to O'Hare, we have conducted over 55 face-to-face interviews, whether they were formally at a train station that we went to before school, or whether they were casual in conversation. And we can safely conclude that over 75% of the people we talked to would be in use of something like our product, because they didn't think that they would own any wireless accessories in the near future. So we also talked about talking to people about the quality of the cord in the Cordanizer. However, this has become irrelevant due to the fact that we changed our product from instead of including the cord, we would just include the mechanism so that people could use their own cords, because we discovered through interviews that they would be more likely to buy our product if they could use their own cord. So we also talked about just updating our website and making it more user-friendly, which we successfully did, and we made sure to put the pre-order now button right on the first screen that the customer sees.
So we sent out an email blast to many different people that we had their emails through our surveys and through our mentor, but then Mariah's dad was able to email some of his people because he is a business person. And we got 40 pre-orders out of the 60 emails he sent out. And so then we also went to the train station, as Allie said earlier, to target the business people that leave for work in the morning and go to Chicago usually. So we went before school, and we were able to get 6 pre-orders out of the about 20 interviews we did there. In total, we used $338.30 out of the money you guys gave us. This money went towards getting a prototype, marketing, and competitive analysis. So with the game show you guys did at the beginning, we calculated it would be about 30 seconds for you guys to untangle those cords, and turned out to be right. And if you do that about 3 times a day, and then 365 days a year, that comes out to be 9 hours in a year that you spend untangling cords, which could be used for an entire day's work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How is this made? How are you going to make it? With the injection molding machine?
Yes.
Injection molding, yeah. If you'll excuse me, I'd love to grab our prototype.
That'd be
Or
great.
something I would love to show you guys.
Really, when I looked at 50 cents labor, there would have to be some highly automated doing.
That was included in the plant property and equipment cost for the.
Can you go back to the unit economics that Brian's referring to? What's the cost for that one?
All right, this is the prototype we got from a freelancer. Is it okay if I explain this now?
Yeah.
It shows the snap together feature, so you can put as many as you like together, or you can take them apart. Just stick your earbuds in your back pocket. It's retractable, like we asked him to make it, and it also opens up, so you can put different cords inside. This
So
one
is
was
it
3D.
intended that you keep your earbuds in that thing when you're
Yeah.
using?
Yeah. So you can pull them. We made it so it's it doesn't retract from one end. It's in the middle, so you can use it like that.
That's pretty cool. How did you get the prototype developed?
we talked to him, he helped us through the CAD design, and once he had the CAD design, he 3D printed it, and then made the retracting mechanism that's inside, so it can retract.
So this is also like very like thank you to like Lewis and Clark because they sent us like I think 7 of these retractable things that they had and let us take them apart and like just see how it works so that we were able to correctly explain to the freelancer how to make the product. So they helped us out a lot.
If you guys are given the money you're asking for, where will you be doing the production for all of this work?
We don't know the exact location yet, but we do plan to get somewhere where we can, like where we can hold all the Cordinizers to then give them to people later.
So could you had a significant portion of that, close to half was for production costs, you know, the actual material and stuff. So that's why I'm wondering, where are you going to set up the shop, or will you need more money? It seems like you're missing a big cost if you're going to be actually doing injection molding machines and so forth, or are you going to outsource it, and where are those costs?
Well, the cost of goods sold was planned for outsourcing. That was the labor cost of, that wasn't here. So that, and then the beginner costs are for the actual housing, but we're not actually going to manufacture it here.
Also, the way he described it, the man at Lewis and Clark, is that just outsourcing it in China or some other country, and our main goal is just to find our dream manufacturer, to find a specific manufacturer, and then we can get specific costs and such for manufacturing.
And obviously, if we can prove, so if we were to if we continue this and we can prove to Lewis and Clark that this is like in high demand and that this is something that we can really make something out of, they would, I'm sure, we could pitch the idea to them again, and they have a lot of connections that they could probably either connect us with or even buy our product from us.
Can you go to the slide with what you're asking, the breakdown of what you're asking for funding? So so the marketing seems low to me. The rest of it, I think is okay, but the material, equipment, and property, it seems like, how did you come to that number? What are you actually going to do with that 12,000 if you haven't figured out, you know, what your approach is going to be for manufacturing, or who and all that? So what is the 12,000 comprised of?
Well, that 12,000 is comprised of a warehouse to actually hold all of the Cordinizers to then later ship them. And then the materials and the equipment are like what we're going to need, like the injection molding, and then the materials and equipment are pretty much the injection molding.
So I'm just saying, do you need, I don't know, it just seems like maybe you're missing a big component. Like if you did get that money and you had that all sitting in the warehouse and ready to go, how are you actually going to produce stuff to sell to pay it back? If you, I mean, there's like, are you going to have any money for packaging and all the other stuff to produce them and actually somebody to run the, you know, the injection molding machine and all of that stuff? So that's where I'm confused, is what your approach is and what you're asking for.
I don't
Oh.
think
Or maybe I'm misunderstanding how you're going about it.
Well, it seems like you've allotted $12,000 to buy a mold, and that, who's Lewis and Clark? Are they a
They're a
manufacturer?
Yeah, they're
manufacturing
I think
company.
they're in.
Elk Grove.
Okay, and you're going, have you collaborated with them to see if $12,000 is enough to meet their required inventory?
We haven't collaborated them with that specific cost, but we did with the cost of goods sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other costs.
So I think the advice that Carr is saying is you have a potential manufacturer in Lewis and Clark. They gave you visibility what the unit costs are, but there's this stuff to get it started, like the mold for the injection molding, and just how much money should you budget to that? So we'd recommend in the next day or so to go back to them and make sure that that $12,000 is the right number. Because if you're going to pitch on next week, you're going to want to have real clarity on what that number is.
Yeah, I'll definitely do it.
So things like minimum runs.
Well, I think in any time you're making something plastic, it's the mold.
Yeah.
It's the actual mold that they form for you.
Oh.
That might be $25,000. Now, the unit economics are like 3 cents once you make the mold, but the mold is where the money is.
They said the dye, the specific
The dye.
specialty dye used for casting is around $4,000 or $5,000.
Oh,
To make a
okay,
specialty.
good, so maybe you've looked at that, but just double
It's-
check.
Yeah, it's not very clear what your plan is to actually, because your plan in the first year is to actually produce revenue. And so it's not clear to me how you're getting from on paper stage and prototype to actually producing revenue with these numbers.
A couple, first of all, I think you guys did a really nice job in getting things done. Like, for example, the amount of interviews you did and the ability for you to articulate the conversion rate is really good. Like, the conversion rate of doing 20 interviews at the train station, converting to 6 orders is a 15% conversion rate. Like, that's awesome. And then your dad's email list, 60 converting to 40 is a 66% conversion rate. That's also awesome.
Yeah.
Now, it might be a little head fake because it's like asking your dad or your parents to go sell your Girl Scout cookies for you. I mean, you're going to get a high hit rate when you go to your friends and family, so you don't want to have too much of a head fake there. But the fact that you can articulate that you have market acceptance in those 2 cohorts is really good. And the fact that you even got a prototype done. And is that cord in there something that you guys put into the prototype?
That's able to be taken.
I think,
Okay.
I think
He put it in,
out.
but we took it out and we put it back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very impressive.
And from the train station, we don't know if all 6 pre-orders came from the interviews, because we also left some business cards there,
Okay.
so they could have also come from.
Okay. And where did a pre-order come from? Did they, when you interviewed them, did you say, go to our website and pre-order?
Yeah.
Or did you have a form right there and it
We
said
had a-
pre-order?
We had we had business cards that we just handed them to be like, and we just said like, if you guys are interested, please head to our website and pre-order our product.
Okay, so this is really important. So not only did somebody have to see the prototype and you said, would you like to pre-order? And they say yes and fill out the form, that wasn't the case. Like, that was an instant conversion. The person you had to give them a card, and then they had to be motivated to remember to then go to your website and click on it and say, I'll pre-order. And how did you track that the person that went on your website to do that pre-order came from the train station or came from some other? Did you
So,
ask them, or where did you find out
I
about it?
looked at the pre-order list because I had the list of all the names and the emails, and I was able to ask my dad which ones he had sent to, and it wasn't all. So we got 46 altogether. It wasn't all.
So by process of elimination,
So, yeah, it
you
was
knew that the other
possible.
6 were,
Yeah.
okay.
1 minute.
Along the lines of Michael's question implies how difficult it is to get a direct sale, to get somebody to order from your website. How much time do you guys put into thinking about how products like these are typically sold, where you walk into O'Hare, now they've got vending machines that are selling stuff like this. It seems like you're assuming that you're going to be able to acquire all your customers directly, and you won't have to go through an intermediary, like a retail channel. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. We're definitely going to.
Yeah,
I think.
we want to get into later in when we have more time. We want to get into Sky Mall, into stores like Best Buy. We want to sell to Belkin at some point.
But none of that is any of that in your model? Or are you assuming the same margins on your products all 5 years?
Well, we're assuming higher growth when we plan to sell those stores.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's
Higher growth, but what about margins? So you're selling these things for $17.99, probably regardless of whether they're sold retail or they're sold directly through
Last
you,
question.
right? So you might want to think about how much of that you'll have to give up to Sky Mall or the vending machine in the airport to carry your product.
Can we squeeze one more question in?
Well, you got time.
So put the whole business thing aside, convince us that you guys as a team are the right team to invest in. Are you in it? How did y'all connect together? Are you working hard? Are you really wanting to win this thing?
I mean, I don't want to get cheesy, but I think we've all become really good friends throughout the year. Robbie was really gracious to let us do team meetings every Sunday at his house, and we eventually moved those to Starbucks.
Crazy.
It was fun, yeah.
We've
Yeah, we got too distracted by the ATVs.
Yeah, but overall, we've become really good friends. We've divvied up the work very well. I mean, Mariah's our team leader. Through that, we've just designated work to each other, and I think we work really well together.
Awesome. Okay.
You all agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
I'll say yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Here, Mariah.
Yes, we looked at design.
Money with